I never thought I'd find myself back in that forest again. It had been years since we first went there, the summer after high school, a stupid camping trip that ended wrong. But when my friends, Miggy, Lonnie, and Tonio, invited me to go back, I thought I could handle it this time. I thought I had grown braver. I was wrong. We arrived late afternoon. The sun was low, slicing through the dense canopy, painting the forest floor in orange and gray. Fog was already creeping along the roots and fallen leaves, curling around the tree trunks like pale fingers. The air smelled damp, of wet earth and decaying leaves. I shivered, though I tried to convince myself it was only the cold. "Come on," Lonnie said, tugging at my sleeve. "We should set up before it gets too dark." Miggy had brought his old, battered tent. It was too small for the four of us, but we didn't care, we were too eager to get away from the city. Tonio wandered a little further, inspecting the area for firewood, while Lonnie and I started unpacking supplies. The first hour was harmless. We laughed, joked, and tried to ignore the unnerving quiet of the forest beyond our small clearing. But the deeper we went into the woods, the more alive the shadows seemed. I swear I saw something move in the corner of my eye, a silhouette crouching behind a gnarled tree. When I blinked, it was gone. "Did you see that?" I asked, pointing. "See what?" Miggy said, glancing over. "There, over there," I whispered. The shadows didn't move. Or maybe they did. "Stop scaring yourself," Tonio called, his voice oddly tight. But even as he spoke, I caught the flicker of unease in his eyes. Night came fast. The fog thickened, swallowing the path we had walked. Our small campfire flickered weakly, casting long, twitching shadows against the tents and trees. That's when I first heard it, a soft, deliberate whisper from the darkness. "I think I heard something," Lonnie murmured, clutching her knees. We all froze. The whispering stopped. Then a low, dragging sound, like nails scraping against stone, came from behind us. I spun around. Nothing. Just fog. "Probably just an animal," Miggy said, trying to sound confident. But his voice wavered. We tried to settle down, telling ourselves it was the wind, or a branch falling. But then Tonio called out. "Guys, where's Lonnie?" I turned to see Lonnie's side of the campfire empty. The firelight flickered on her abandoned sleeping bag. My stomach dropped. "Lonnie!" I shouted, my voice shaking. Miggy grabbed a flashlight, sweeping the beam into the fog. The light caught movement, fast, too fast. Shadows darted between the trees. And then I heard it again, a whisper, this time her voice, calling my name. I'm here, I'm here." We ran. My legs burned as we plunged deeper into the fog, but the forest seemed endless. Every tree looked the same, every shadow stretching impossibly long. I heard Miggy scream, but when I turned, he wasn't behind me. Tonio grabbed my arm, eyes wide with panic. "I can't find him," Tonio cried. "He was right behind us." The whispers turned into laughter. Not friendly laughter, but cruel, echoing, like dozens of voices sharing a single malice. I tried to shout, but my voice felt swallowed by the fog. The ground beneath us seemed uneven, twisting. Every step felt heavier. Then I saw her, Lonnie. She was standing perfectly still among the trees, back to me, pale and silent. I ran to her. "Lonnie, come on, we have to leave." She didn't turn. The fog thickened, hiding her face. And then, she was gone. Just like that. Vanished into the mist. I stumbled blindly, calling for my friends, my voice cracking. That's when I noticed the trail. Footprints. Not ours. Small, thin, dragging marks that didn't belong to any human. I followed them against my better judgment, drawn by some horrible curiosity. The footprints led to a decrepit cabin I didn't remember seeing on the way in. Its wooden walls were rotting, windows dark and empty. A voice whispered from inside, "Come in." I froze. It sounded like Lonnie, but stretched, hollow, unnatural. Tonio grabbed my arm, shaking me. "We shouldn't go in," he shouted. But before we could decide, the door creaked open on its own. Inside, it smelled of mold and rot, the floor slick with something dark I didn't want to identify. Shadows moved across the walls, like they had minds of their own. I saw fleeting shapes, tall, thin, and twisted, watching us, waiting. "Tonio, we have to find the others," I said, my voice trembling. We explored the cabin, room by room. A basement staircase appeared suddenly, descending into darkness so thick I could barely see my hand. From below, the whispers grew louder, voices overlapping, singing, laughing, crying. And then, silence. We descended. Every step creaked. My flashlight flickered. And then, in the dim light, I saw Miggy. Or what I thought was Miggy. He was slumped against the wall, his eyes rolled back, mouth moving silently, muttering words I couldn't understand. When he noticed us, he let out a scream, not human, not alive, and lunged at us. Tonio and I barely escaped, scrambling back up the stairs. But when I looked back, the cabin had changed. The door we had entered through was gone, replaced by a solid wall, and the windows looked out onto endless fog. We ran. I don't remember how long. The forest seemed to stretch endlessly, yet the whispers followed, taunting, always just behind. I tripped, fell into mud, and when I looked up, I saw Tonio, gone. Just gone. No sound, no movement. By the time I found myself alone, the first light of dawn was breaking, and the fog had thinned. The forest looked almost peaceful, almost normal. But I knew better. Something had followed me back. Something that didn't belong in this world. I walked for hours, until I reached the edge of the forest. I was filthy, bleeding, and shaking, but I made it out. I never looked back. When I told the police about Miggy, Lonnie, and Tonio, they found nothing. No tracks, no cabin, no signs of struggle. Just my story, and the memories of a forest that didn't want to let us go. Even now, nights are the hardest. I hear whispers, faint but clear, calling my name. I see shadows in corners, too fast to catch. And every time I close my eyes, I see them, my friends, or what used to be my friends, still lost in that foggy, endless forest. And I know, I will never go back there.